Yeah, a little bit unfortunate there that we won't be able to see the 2v2 again. We won't be able to see the map with all of the gold bases. But instead, we do get to, we do get to see New Gettysburg. We do get to see Dust Towers at the end of the night, as well as Core Hall Carnage Knockout, which we've only seen one other time.
Yeah. All of the 1v1s. So every map here we've seen at least twice. We do have 4 games ahead of us. Do we want to take a break or do we want to plow on through?
How you feeling, Yaku? How you feeling?
Yeah, just take a drink. I still have more than half. My water bottle is still more than halfway full, so.
Well, as long as you're hydrated, then we can just do this.
Alrighty then, let's get in on it. We're gonna start with a TVZ X Kawaiian, not to be confused with Kiwion, versus Warren.
Yeah, and it's cool to see X Kawaiian. I'm pretty sure he still streams pretty regularly. He's a pretty popular streamer. Yeah. Whereas
I think I mentioned it last week, but literally just before we started the stream, I was watching X Kawaiian play Counter-Strike with Special.
God damn it.
Yeah. And shall we jump on in?
Yeah, let's get this underway.
Terraces. Tier 3 Goats versus ZergPatch and Jenasin. Which, by the way, Jon Snow on Tier 3 Goats, he is the Jarod that Team Better of Jarod were referring to.
Yeah, it is.
And speaking of referring to, here we have it over here in the top left-hand corner of the map, spawning in the top left-hand corner of the map. It is gonna be our orange Terran, all the way from the land of Kauai, otherwise known as America. It is gonna be playing, or representing rather, Alpha X, but playing for the Tier 3 Goats. This is what we're going to be opening up our series with. It is X Kawaiian.
I actually didn't know he was on Alpha X. Oh.
Did we cast him last week?
I don't remember. Spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of New Gettysburg, Prion Terraces, we have the American Zerg player representing Archangel Gaming and currently playing for the team of ZergPatch and Jenasin. We have Warren.
Is that Tyrael or is that Oriel? I'm mostly going off Heroes of Storm and not Diablo.
That is just an Archangel, and if you say otherwise, then they will get sued.
Yeah.
It is very reminiscent to Tyrael, which, we'll see.
It looks like, you know what it is? It's Tyrael's sword, but with Oriel's wings and with Malthael's cloak. Quick little main art coming out from Warren. Glad I was staring at the clan decal to catch that.
Yeah, I do like this coming out from our Zerg players. I don't think we saw this in the TVT, did we?
No, we did not.
Yeah, and there we go. We do have X Kawaiian doing the same.
But not with every worker. Just gonna be splitting it in 2 and then just gonna try to saturate them at the same time.
Yeah, interesting.
Which I kind of prefer.
Yeah.
I think I prefer that for Terran because, again, you can simultaneously be building your SCVs one by one. I think this style of splitting up your workers and then working on the saturation will work out better.
Yeah, I mean, it's very different for Terran.
Just bursting.
Yeah, just because for Terran, your SCVs are forced to come out of both your natural and your main, so it's more efficient to have them going somewhere closer to mine instead of sending them over. Whereas for Zerg, you can choose where you want your Zergs to come out of. I mean, your drones to come out of. So,
and it's probably and it's probably better just to get that burst of extra minerals early on, because then you're gonna have the larva. You're gonna be holding down that D key. You're gonna be saturating your main very, very quickly.
Definitely, as Warren also takes the other gold as his third base. So far setting himself up pretty nicely economically. Not really focusing too much on his army, which, I mean, could be taken advantage of, but ex-Kawaiian himself is also being very defensive, setting up with a bunker.
He knows this is the gold base map. He just saw Papi himself, Dios Papi himself, being taken out by the opponent who took advantage of the gold.
Yeah. So you do have to be careful with that. He is, nicely playing defensively. He does have a tank set up as well behind his wall, as we do see him going for a pretty interesting opener. I thought he was going to go for like a 1-1-1, like a Banshee or something along those lines, but no, instead for this 2-1-1, which I do love to see.
Yeah, and this is the bane of Greedy Zerg. It's not even 2-1-1, it's a 2-1-1 with a third Rax added on a little bit later. Typically you see the third Rax added in only after the move out.
Yo, we need Steel to do the math on this. What is...
No, we don't.
This is a 2-1...
No, we don't.
2-1-1...
No, we don't.
Or is it a 3-1-1?
No, we don't. No, we do not need that right now.
Alright, Steel.
But I kind of like this as well. It means that both Terran upgrades or Marine upgrades are going to be done very, very quickly. So if the Zerg player went for an early Baneling Nest, which Warren didn't, but if they did, it's a little bit more forgiving. You don't have to be too focused on your micro.
Yeah.
Only one medvac so far, huh?
I do think that what allows this to also work is the fact that you do have the gold, so you do have a lot more minerals. You can pump out a lot more. Yeah, Marines.
12 on the wall. Warren does not go all the way in, sees the medevacs and turns around.
Yeah,
good
he
reaction.
actually saw
a good pro action by Kawaiian.
Yeah, Warren actually saw both. He saw the initial southern medevacs with his lings, and he saw the ones at the top right with the watchtower, as we do have multi-prong attacks happening from ex-Kawaiian.
Yeah, typically you load up, you have a double drop, you load up in one area and you try to clear out the creep, but Kawaiian, probably because he knows that there are gold bases, is going to be focused a lot more on economy rather than creep.
Yeah, definitely, as we do have both drops being warded away by Warren. So far hasn't really taken much damage at all, but we do have some reinforcing tanks on the way to the top right hand corner,
and that is going to be very dangerous, especially if Kawaiian continues to just keep this harassment force here to clear up creep or distract Warren as much as he can.
Yeah, and it is kind of working. The Lings are here, and the Banes are actually in the main base of Warren. They are as far away as they can be to this tank push that is happening.
The only thing that would make it more of a Bjorn move is if it was a tank evac rather than just unsiege tanks. And this is a high ground domination that the Terran can really take advantage of.
Oh, but there aren't that many Marines. It looks like the tanks on the high ground are going to hold, though, but the Marines do get cleaned up. Not for long.
And being driven, taking that high ground is great, but being driven away from that high ground, that's quite a bit of a yikes. But Warren, his economy, despite a couple of distractions, still going on strong, already getting Groove Spines and +2 Carapace.
Yeah, we will be seeing Hydroling Bane coming out from Warren, and I kind of worried for ex-Kawaiian.
Really is pretty 17.
Yeah, I'm kind of worried because his third base is quite late. It's only just now, not even halfway done. Meanwhile, Warren has 4 hatcheries up and running.
This is 2017 if I've ever seen it light. But I am just perplexed. I am just... Did we go into a time machine? But yeah, it's as you said, if you just look at the income difference, you don't even need to look at the graph. You don't need the line, because I can do math. can see over 1,000 more minerals and over 500 more gas being pumped out for Warren.
Yeah.
And Kawhi only now going to be finishing up the third base. It's such a late transition.
I mean, you could definitely argue that if he takes the gold as his third, then because it's a gold, it's not as, you know, as much of a precarious situation. But
I would agree if not for the fact that Kawhi took every gold on his side of the map.
Yeah. Yeah, as you say that, he is taking that center gold as well. Jesus Christ.
This is starting to look like a Zerg player who has just snowballed their economy. I am not convinced that Kawhi definitely didn't do enough, but I'm not even sure if Kawhi can do much from this point on.
Yeah, and Kawhi,
he's left Warren alone for way too long.
And Kawhi is taking the regular third base instead of the gold, so he won't have that economic boost that the gold would provide for him. So Warren, he's just getting more and more ahead. There are a couple of drops coming out though, so they could deal some damage.
Yeah, I do kind of like what Kawhi is thinking. He's thinking, I need to defend whatever I have, turtle up with tanks, maybe add in some liberators later on, and just throw out the drops.
Oh, I love this actually. He's taking his fourth base now, finally, Kawhi, and it's this high ground fourth, which is very defensible for Terran.
It's actually, I would call it a genius move, but I like what Kawhi is prioritizing. Defense over economy. That's absolutely what he needs. Because again, as Terran, your offense is your defense. Your drops can just provide so much.
Yeah.
When it comes to keeping your opponent on their side of the map and dealing damage to them.
And what I love about that fourth base location is that if you siege up tanks, I think you can get the mineral line of the gold base, of the Zerg gold.
Oh yeah, you can.
Yeah. So
the seven part isn't really is pretty well defended there, but honestly, that's less than half of the workers. Less than half of the workers are going to be mining from that location.
Definitely. But as Kawhi sets himself up, you know, Warren, he's already almost maxed out. He's at 184 supply. He's going to be looking to push out fairly soon. And does Kawhi have enough to hold? Like, he is in a pretty good, like, defensive position, but I don't know if he has the units, if he has the supply.
Yeah, what really matters right now are his siege units, whether it's tanks, whether it's mines, whether it's liberators. Yeah. He's only got 3 tanks.
He does only have 3 tanks. Finally, a 4th joins, but he needs a lot more than that. As his drops are, you know, dealing decent damage. He's trying to clear up creep, but Warren, here we go. He's finally maxing out. He's working on Vipers and Ultralisks as well.
It's hard to be optimistic right now, but Kawhi does have drops ready. No, the all army did not load up into the medevac. The medevac is just rallied back on home. And that's a yikes for me.
Alright, here we go. Kawhi, he's sieged up on the high ground with those tanks. They are all bunched up, so one good blinding cloud could cover everything.
Yeah, indeed it could, but the Vipers just aren't quite here yet. So much carnage is happening right now. The tanks not really focused on what they need to, and they are being picked apart by the Hydras on the low ground. That's Kawhi losing so much supply. I think Warren might have just done it here.
I think so as well. Even though Kawhi had such a good defensive position, he just didn't have the numbers to back himself up, and the tank count was almost reset. He holds for now, but Warren, he can just remax. He's got a Spire on the way. He's got 3-3 on the way as well. I'm surprised we're not seeing any Ultralisks since the Ultralisk Cavern did finish up, but yeah.
I think he just realizes that he doesn't really need to. Either that or he's just waiting for to really max out the Ultras or buff out the Ultras. A drop being taken out by the Hydras.
Yeah.
And I remember this from 2017 as well. Like, this was a common occurrence, you know. The Terra players making use of the high ground, going to be just trying to siege out their Zerg opponents. But meanwhile, Hydraling Band is pretty dang good.
Yeah, and finally we do have the Vipers as well. They're not even used right now as all the tanks get taken out. There's only one left on the high ground. And we'll see what X1 can do. He looks like he's going for a Doom drop almost.
Kind of, but Yeah, it's a Doom drop relative to the size of Kawaii's
exactly.
army, but
yeah.
relative to the stage of the game, I don't know. A triple drop is not too dangerous. I think Warren should just about be fine, especially considering that they're just here to clear creep. And look at how injured these medevacs are, and look at how many Hydras Warren has.
And the Ultras are out as well. They happen to be walking past this area as...
hello? Kawaiian? Does switch lift away, loses 1 medevac's worth of units. But it should be fine. Greatest Fire almost going to be done for Warren.
Yeah, we have the upgrades finishing up as well. We'll have the Greatest Fire, so we could be seeing Broodlords. And once Broodlords are out, like, it's going to be so difficult to keep this high ground 4th base for Kawaiian.
Absolutely will. And this is really the power of late game Zerg, especially when you've been mining off of gold bases uninterrupted. You can just switch up your tech so at the drop of the hat.
Yeah, I do like that Kawaiian, he's trying to drop this upper corner location, but Warren does spot it. At the same time, he's trying to drop the southern location.
Hydras takes out so many units there.
Wow.
But Warren does not know about this other drop. Now he does. But where's the response? There it is. Only 3 drones going to be taken out there.
Yeah.
And the Ultralists are starting to come in. These Marines are surprisingly tough, but not tough enough.
Yeah, there just isn't enough here for Kawaiian. He's trying to drop as best he can, but hasn't really been able to do much. And here we have the Ultralist positioning to push into the 4th base of Kawaiian. He does have 4 tanks, which is nice. It is a choke point.
Has to be careful about the Ultralists now, and Corruptors are being made, but is there enough supply to turn them into Broodlords?
Not quite yet. He's gonna have to sack something. He's gonna have to kill workers or push in and lose some Ultras.
Well, he's looking to he's gonna wait until he can get a bank up before he starts hemorrhaging units, which is what you want to do in the late game as Zerg. You want to be throwing your units away, but only if you know you can remax instantly.
Oh, and at the same time, ex-Kawaiian does pull Warren back as he does have this triple drop here to the south. Again, just buying as much time as he can, which I do give him props for. I just don't know if it's going to be enough as Kawaiian finally takes... Yeah, he finally takes the gold base, and it is a planetary, so he does have that going for him.
That indeed he does. So that should be pretty safe from any run-bys, especially since Warren knows where the bulk of Kawaiian... But here's the thing, though. Warren also kind of knows where the bulk of Kawaiian's forces are, defenses are. If he went in with everything he had, he could take out that planetary easy. And even with the sensor tower, it's hard to... It takes a while to unsiege and siege up again.
Yeah, definitely. I do think that planetary is a little bit exposed, like especially since the defensive position is all the way on the right side. As I say that though, ex-Kawaiian, it looks like he's finally decided to push out as he is maxed. He was able to survive. Yeah, he was able to survive long enough. To be fair, the left-hand side, there's no creep here, so this is probably the best angle that he can hope for.
There's an ace here, though. Okay, now there are a couple of bases. I don't know about this side. Okay, he does have units up into his medevac, so he's probably trying to go for a multi-prong, it seems. 1 in the main, 1 in the front, but I don't know about this light. I don't know about this.
I mean, there's not too many Hydras here in the main base, so they maybe...
This is a defense. This is a defensive position. Look at the blinded clouds. Yeah. But the Marauders chew through the Ultralists. The drop is doing a lot of damage here. The Ultralists are being pulled back. Is it going to be enough, though? Okay, that was actually a brilliant move from Kawaiian's part. I was underestimating it so hard.
Yeah, at the end of the day, the buyer were able to push through the Ultralists, and that went as best as it could have gone for Kawaiian, as that drop is still alive, so it's forcing Warren to keep some units in his natural and main base. We'll see if Kawaiian can keep up the pressure, though, because right now he's kind of given...
I think he's realized that he kind of can't. He has only 1 medevac here, and it's about out of energy. If he can take this high ground location with the tanks, then maybe he has a shot, but I don't think he realizes it. I don't think he realizes it. Quick little stim and siege up. And it's pretty good. The splits are there, but the blinded clouds are there even more. And again, these units are just so red. Reinforcements are coming in for Kawaiian, but Warren, he's going to have a couple of reinforcements of his own. And man, Ultralisk Broodlord, that is so weird to think about, but it's actually really effective.
Yeah, and finally the Broodlords are done. They are here, and they're going to be able to clean everything up and push ex-Kawaiian away. And honestly, that push went as well as it could have for ex-Kawaiian. The rematch just isn't there for him, though. Look at his economy. He has no gas.
It's not. Yeah, he has no gas. He has no production. He is pumping out factories here, but is it too late?
Yeah, I just realized at the 4th base on the high ground, he hasn't taken his gases there, and at the 3rd base, he only has 1 SCV mining on each gas as well.
He is starting to make use of mineral bank, though. He is double expanding so hard. He knows that this bottom side of the map is really secure, and he's just gonna continue to do what Terran does best in these late game situations: drop your enemy.
Yeah, so far
Bring
he
your
drops
economy down to your level.
Yeah, he drops to the south. He drops in the middle as well, which is nicely done. There isn't anything here, so he does shave off a couple of workers. He may even kill the base. Oh, he does pick up though instead. I just worry when it comes to ex-Kawaiian's economy. He just has to keep buying more and more time.
Yeah, he does, but the thing is, if you just look at the worker count right now, look at the income difference. If Kawaiian can really starve out Warren, max out, get a very good choke point, then Warren is going to have to move into him, and he's going to have all the cards in his favor at that point. Look at these Vikings, look at the tanks, but this is such a wide open position.
Yeah, and I think Warren's had enough. I think he's just decided to push with his high-tech army, with these Broodlords and Ultras. He's losing workers as we speak, but I don't think he cares as he's pushing into the natural.
Way too much army. Way too much army. Maybe if Kawaiian can make use of the Vikings, take out the Broodlords early on, but so many Banelings. Even the splits aren't going to be enough here when there are that many Banelings. I think Warren has just done it here. GG is called, and Warren going to be taking up ZergPatch and Jenasin up into match point here. And monologue analyze, well, I will be 1 second.
Yeah, GG, well played. Warren does take the first game, and he does put his team up 2-0 in this best of 5. Really nicely done there, as we are going to be setting up for game number 2. I guess kind of game 3, but which will be on New Gettysburg between Jehefe and Silky. Another TVZ. Well, I say another TVZ, but this will be the first TVZ that we cast on New Gettysburg, and we'll see how Jehefe handles it. As even though there is like a really fast rush distance, even though there's a really thin bridge, it can be closed off with just a couple of depots. So Jehefe, we could see a longer macro game out of this. We could even see Jehefe take the island bases. There's definitely a lot of potential here on this map, as we haven't seen it in so long. It's been years. It's been since at least 2016, maybe even longer than that. I'm honestly not too sure if Jehefe was around back then. I know Silky definitely was. Silky has played for many years. He's an old school player, and we'll see if that experience comes into play, since I'm sure he remembers playing on this map. Whereas Jehefe, I'm not too sure, to be honest. I don't know the NA scene that well to recognize whether Jehefe has been around since then. I know ex-Kawaiian has, but yeah, we will see. As a reminder, we will be playing out all 5 of these matches, regardless of the score.
Indeed, we will.
Yeah, I was just reminding people that, this is the first time we're seeing this matchup on New Gettysburg, and we could see a longer game, especially since we do have a Terran player and he can block off that long, thin bridge with a couple of depots. So, it's good when it comes to holding early aggression. We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, we really will have to be New Gettysburg. Again, speaking of Terran, I just want to say, this is a bien map. And there's a reason why I favorite Terran, because of the island bases and because of blocking out that bridge.
Yeah.
It can be pretty dang good.
Definitely. Again, it's such a shame. playing through these old maps, like, it makes me miss them, to be honest. Like, legitimately, I didn't like.
It really does.
More so this week than last week. Last week I was all about Acolyte, but this week I feel like we've got some gems.
Oh, I wholeheartedly agree there. Wholeheartedly. And speaking of whole hearts, here we have it in the right-hand side of the map, spawning in the right-hand side of the map. It is going to be a red Zerg. Not to be confused with the one who is all the way from the land of China, but rather the one who is all the way from the land of America. I'm going to speed this up. It is playing for representing Storm, but playing for ZergPatch and Jenasin. It's Silky.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of New Gettysburg, LE, but also proxying at the same time, we have the American Terran player representing Tier 3 Goats. It is Jehefe.
I thought for sure the bridge was going to come into this. I thought that the bridge was going to be what we had to focus on. Nope. They took a long way around, and it's going to proxy 3 barrackses.
I do love this, to be honest. You know, he went all the way around with his SCVs to make sure he didn't get spotted by the Overlord, is able to keep this hidden. Meanwhile, we do have an Overlord by Silky pretty close, but will he be able to spot it? Oh, he spots it! He sees
spots one!
He
sees the SCVs, knows that there are 2.
Yeah, he knows that it is at least a 2 racks, and he does confirm that Marines are coming out instead of Reapers. He pulls all the boys. Will he let the bunkers finish?
There are not enough Marines here. There are not enough Marines here. Hefe being chased all the way back. The bunker gonna be canceled there, but this is quite a bit of lost mining time.
It is a lost mining time, and yeah, and more Marines are coming out, but the drones are being pulled quite nicely. 3 do go down though, and will he be able to focus down this spine?
Does Hefe have the momentum? Lings are coming out, and they will be instrumental in getting us around. The spine is gonna have to be canceled there. More and more Marines are coming in. Not a single one lost yet. And the drones, they're focusing on the bunker, not the SCV.
That they are, and the Marines.
The Zerglings are gone. Like, the bunker has been taken out, but the Zerglings are gone. Once again, not a single Marine has gone down. Wait, actually, let me check real quick. One Marine has gone down.
Yeah, 2nd Marine goes down, but that's it.
Gee, like, you were talking up about potentially having a long game, but
nope.
FA says
GG, and Jehefe puts a point on the board for his team.
That indeed he does. They're not going to be 3-0'd, and definitely not 5-0'd. It's not going to happen now. And, man, I'm a little bit disappointed that the bridge didn't come into play, but I suppose you can't really be too disappointed when it's something like that.
Yeah, that was such a quick game, and GG Silky, like, he pulled the boys, like, he almost held. You know, he was able to deny the bunker and force the creep to make sure that another one wasn't going to finish up, but in the end, there was just so much momentum. There were too many Marines. The spine got cancelled as well early on, or I think it was killed, actually. And yeah, Jehefe, solid win. I was cancelled. There you go. As we set up for game number 4, actually, will be a ZVZ.
Indeed, it will. More of this sort of action. We are going to be coming into Core Hall Carnage Knockout, the best free-for-all map that I have had the pleasure of playing on.
It's a very long name, to say the least. it's a lot to get out.
Alliteration.
Yeah.
And speaking of alliteration, here we have it in the sort of 11 o'clock-ish position on the map, spawning in the 7 o'clock-ish position on the map. It is going to be a blue Zerg all the way from the land of America. He was wanted, but now, unfortunately, he was poached. But now, Here he is, showing off what he can really do here. He is representing, or not representing a team right now, but playing for the Tier 3 GOATs. It is Jon Snow.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Korhal Carnage Knockout LE. Jesus Christ, we have the Costa Rican Zerg player representing T-Stop Gaming, as well as in this best of 5 ZergPatch and Jenasin. It is Eon.
All right. There are so many ways that this can play out. Like,
yeah.
We were talking about destructible terrain. We were talking about adding terrain. Scouting is going to be super important on this map, especially in a ZVZ.
Yeah, definitely. And we may see the destructible rocks come into play. It's definitely hard to say, especially in a ZVZ where armies can be very ground-based. We could see even the towers be collapsed and then just go into fast mutalisks. That could be something that we see. There's a lot of possibilities.
But yeah, they're all at our fingertips. I suppose the players' fingertips.
Yeah, as so far we do have Eon already with 6 lings on the way, looking to be a little bit more aggressive. But again, because there's such a large rush distance, even if there's only one way out, these overlords should be able to spot them if they do move out across the map. And Jon Snow should have enough to defend. So we'll see how things progress as, Eon is actually banking up lings.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's got lings at his natural and his main base. Yeah.
Why would you do this in the ZVZ?
Why would you do to link flood? He's banking them to link flood. He's gonna just send everything across the map. But because of these overlords,
that was a test and you passed.
Yeah. Because of these overlords, this will be spotted. And Jon Snow does have a defensive Baneling nest, so he should have Banelings for defense at home. We'll see if it's enough. As here it is, the trigger has been pulled. Eon's going across the map.
They are going across the map. Jon Snow now sees this Baneling nest not quite done. But meanwhile, Jon Snow, he's been getting a couple of Banelings of his own, or Zerglings of his own. He does not quite trust Eon. Doesn't have link speed yet, but he does have the Banelings. He does have the Queens here for the body block. Banelings are starting to come in. Will this hatchery survive? Will it survive? It's looking that way. It is looking very likely. And such good zoning here with the Banelings.
Yeah.
All the way back home, or not quite.
Yeah, imagine if that Baneling nest was just a little bit later, then these Banelings wouldn't have been here to protect the natural, and the natural would have fallen. So well played here by Jon Snow, is able to get them out just in time. And Eon, he's trying to find more damage done here, trying to posture as he does drone up back at home.
He does drone up back at home. He's getting a Baneling nest of his own as well. He's just going to be trying to contain Jon Snow as much as he possibly can here. Try to snipe a Baneling or two whenever he can. These armies are so close to each other. It is only Banelings for Eon, and there are a couple of Banelings for Jon Snow. The Zerglings are going away, going over the Banelings. Does lose a couple of more. Eon not trading too well here. If you just look at the army supply difference,
Eon doesn't have any defensive Banelings. He's only just morphing them in now, and that may be a little bit too late as Jon Snow is already here. Yeah, he's already across the map.
In fact, he is, but these Banelings are about to pop. Okay, they just popped. Jon Snow losing a couple links there, but not too disastrous. These Banelings are going for the mineral line light.
6 workers go down. And these lings for Jon Snow are cleaning up in the natural base as well. Going to be killing everything here as there's just too much.
Jon Snow gonna be tying this series up sideways 2-2 for the Tier 3 GOATs.
Yeah, GG and Eon, he was trying to be a little bit sneaky there, hoping that Jon Snow was actually skipping or delaying his Baneling Nest longer than he was, but Jon Snow, he did spot it in time, and his Baneling Nest was finished just in time for him to save his natural just a couple seconds longer, and that natural would have fallen. So, a little bit unlucky there for Eon, but well played by Jon Snow.
And we're going into our final map. Our favorite map with our favorite matchup.
Yeah, we are going to be getting into a TVZ on Dusk Towers. It will be our final map of this series as well as the night.
Man, if there was ever a map to end the day on, I'm glad it's Dusk Towers.
Yeah. We'll see if Furby is able to recall TY's play and is able to harness that in some way and bring it back to life.
Man, who was the Zerg player? I want to say Solar. It might not have been Solar.
I think it was Dark. I think it was Dark, to be honest.
Probably, actually, yeah.
Yeah, back when it was on SKT.
The good old rivalry. SKT versus KT. By the way, SKT for the win. In the top right hand corner map, spawning in the top right hand corner of the map Dusk Towers, not LE. We in fact have our blue Zerg all the way from the land of Jardozer was
American.
America. Yeah, I remember it was one of those two because he was like in the deserty area. Playing or representing rather Team
Icebound Esports.
Icebound? Yep. Icebound Esports. I know. But gonna be trying to clinch the ace match for ZergPatch and Jenasin. It is Jardozer.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Dusk Towers, not Ellie, we have the American Terran representing Risen from the Gosu, as well as Tier 3 Goats. It is Furby.
Man. Dusk Towers. I think another game that I do remember is Stats versus Christ, who was it? It was a Stats map, and he used I think it was actually Hero. Was it a PvP? It might have been a PvP.
I was gonna say PvP actually. I was legit thinking
Stats
that.
versus Hero. And that was Phoenix. It wasn't just Phoenix Wars, it was Phoenix Apocalypse is what that was.
Yeah, there were a lot of like legacy games here on this map. It was played a lot amongst in the Korean tournaments by some of the best players, and yeah, it's just so cool to see it again. I remember specifically hating taking this fourth, the low ground fourth, just because of that abusable high ground. I remember playing ZVPs and carriers like pushing in from up there, and it was so difficult to deal with. But yeah, there were just so many good pro games on this map. It's cool to see it again.
Well, it's cool to see it again here in the Spicy League 2. This is where we start our petition. This is where we start our petition to get Blizzard to put it in the map pool again.
Mm-hmm. Not even Blizzard, ESL. We got to get ESL.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no rule saying that ESL has to follow the ladder map pools.
Exactly, or like even better, get GSL, right? Like they're already putting a 4-player map into the map pool. Like they don't care. They're doing whatever they want. So
they're not bound by your laws of logic. But it seems like we're getting quite a slow game here for the time being. Can't really blame the players. It is a very long rush distance.
Yeah, so, like and especially on a map like this, it makes a lot more sense to be more economic focused, especially because you have a pocket, so you can just get that and secure your 2 bases.
Yeah, and you know, for the most part, players are just going to be building up. It is TVZ, so we should be seeing a lot of small skirmishes here and there, trying to vie for map control. But this is the calm before the storm, so you know, cherish it before it happens. Remember to breathe here. Breathe, get some water, or don't get water. Drink your water, and yeah, this is cherish the part of the game before it gets into the mid game where you're really starting to hyperventilate.
Yeah, and what I'm worried about here is that Froby hasn't seen this Roach Warren come down from Jardozer, as it has been hidden so far, and we could see a Roach Ravager push come out, as you know, Jardozer has just been doing nothing but drone up recently, so he could be gearing up for this strong 3-base push. That's what it's looking like it's going to be.
Yeah, as a Froby, will it even be too effective? Froby, he is not quite making tanks, but I feel like we cannot say this enough. It is such a big rush distance that the minute that the minute that Froby realizes I need tanks now, should be fine. And even getting interesting. Oh wait, those are factories. All right, playing mech.
Yeah, he's going full mech. He's got 2 armories on the way, so just to make sure everyone knows exactly what he's doing. He does spot the roaches, which is quite nice with these Hellions at the front of the 3rd base. Meanwhile, Liberator is sieging up in the main base of Jardozer. So far, only a Spore here, and doesn't even get a single worker kill.
But it is still alive here, and it is going to be delaying so much lost mining time. Not that much, actually, now that I think about it.
Only a couple of seconds. Unfortunately, that Liberator didn't really pay for itself at all, but he does keep it alive, so he can utilize it in a different manner.
Indeed, he can.
Yeah, as again, like Froby, he's setting up his 3rd base, you know, quite quickly. Meanwhile, Jardozer is starting to get his 4th underway. And oh my god, what? Thors are coming out for Froby.
Thor Banshee? No, it's not Thor Banshee. It can't be Thor Banshee. There are no Thor drop. No. Like, this is gonna be Thor drops, and this is something that I believe it was Alive that used to really utilize. I'm not sure if it was specifically on Dusk Towers, but this is something that he used to do a lot before he retired. He was the Thor dropper, and the idea behind it is you just drop your load, you pick off 1 building or 2, because Thors actually do a deceptive amount of damage to buildings.
They do. I'm honestly really surprised to see it. To see, a Thor drop potentially coming, as we do have Roach Ravager here at the front door of Froby. Will he have enough to hold? He does. Yeah.
And it will be able to take it out. Gotta be careful there, Froby. Don't want to run into the corrosive biles.
Yeah, the problem with Hellbats is that they can be kited pretty easily with Roach Ravager. It's all about these Thors in the backline kind of sustaining his army. And Jardozer is kind of pulled back, pushed back even.
For the time being, at any rate, this barracks going to be a little bit of a spotter. Meanwhile, we do see the Liberator does get a couple more drones at the pocket.
The jumps are moving out. Yeah.
Jardozer is going to see it.
Oh, he spots it. He sees it. He knows. Okay, I was expecting to see some Biles try and stop it or something, but instead we do have the Thors going right for the 4th/main base of Jardozer. Meanwhile, Jardozer, is he
gonna get a hatchery? Is he gonna get what? Is he gonna target down? Lings. Okay, target this down the Lings. Tries to get the Overlord. This is not the most efficient use of Thors, I gotta say, Froby, but hammering down the hatchery, and there's actually not a lot of DPS here for Jardozer, now pulling in every single unit, but he will manage to keep that hatchery alive. That was not the most efficient Thor drop, but you can kind of see just how tanky and how much damage 2 Thors really can be.
Honestly, I think that was a little bit of a misplay by Froby. I feel like if he had focused on the hatchery from the very beginning, he definitely would have killed it. Like, look how quickly he got it down to less than half health. Like, that was insane.
It really does. And again, there was just nothing there, and even if they were to get there for Jardozer, Thors are pretty tanky in the early game.
Yeah, he definitely had the opportunity there to snipe a base. Unfortunately, missed that, and we have Ling Ravager Bane here at the front door of Froby. Does he have enough to hold? The tanks are getting biled down.
But there are still 5 of them. Every time you take out a tank, you're just leaving yourself vulnerable to another volley, is what it seems to be. And Froby holds this.
Yes, yeah, he holds this quite nicely. He has to be so careful with these Thors, as there are 4 queens waiting for that medevac to dive in. One of the medevacs already quite low on health. Instead decides to pull back as Jardozer pushes in again.
Yeah, but this time it's actually doing quite a bit of work, but does not want to mess with 2 tanks and a Cyclone. All the Thor drop is just coming on back home.
Yeah, the Thor, oh! Has to be careful.
Quick reactions. Nicely done by our Pig Terran player.
Yeah, and what's really hurting Froby is that he hasn't established his 4th base. He has 2 CCs, 1 floating and 1 being built, and he just hasn't been able to push down his ramp.
An orbital.
Yeah.
This is a lot of bases, and that's a lot of biles, but they don't connect with much, really. 2 tanks, really, that is the back line. That is the backbone of this army of Jardozer, and this is a lot of roaches. The Cyclones are doing a lot of work here. This CC will not go down just yet. And even wasted the biles on the CC rather than on the units. That is...
there's just so much roaches though.
Froby loses a Thor, loses some tanks, but the Cyclones are what Jardozer is really worried about.
What I'm worried about is that was the last tank for Froby. Like, that's it. Like, there's just Cyclones and Thors here.
For defense, I would be worried for Froby, but Cyclones are pretty dang good. They are a bit of a mobile defense as well. And the thing is, Cyclones are really hard to get biled down. In fact, I think I actually favor Cyclones in this scenario because there are just so many Ravages.
Definitely. I feel like what's lacking here from Jardozer is some buffer for these Ravagers. They were kind of left naked and they've kind of been chipped away at. These Roaches were a little bit too late. But we do have reinforcements here for Jardozer. Froby has to be careful.
That he, in fact, does. Meanwhile, another Thor drop getting set up with a Hellion drop in the other direction. And this is a choke point. This is a good choke point for a Cyclone to fight, but also a good one to die to Biles. And has Jardozer overextended here? I think he actually has. Should lose all of these Ravages, even if he gets the tank.
Yeah, at the same time, we do have that Thor drop. It is being dealt with Lings, though, so it won't get too much damage done.
The medevac got sniped.
Yeah, it did get sniped, so he got stuck there. Meanwhile, there was a run by to the right-hand side as well with Hellions. Did manage to get a couple of worker kills, which is nice, and it does force Jardozer back.
Wait, I'm sorry, Mutilus? Jardozer is getting Mutilus in the face of Thors? And well, I mean, Cyclones? That is...
Yeah, that's questionable to say the least. I will say
he harassed though.
Yeah, I mean he did clear up the Thors, so there is that, but there are Cyclones out on the map and they can trade fairly well against Mutalisks.
Yeah, they can, but I suppose we have to look at the amount of Mutalisks that Jardozer is really getting. He's just gonna clear out the Hellbats, which can't shoot up, and then probably just gonna go around for harass. There are a couple of missile turrets, but a lot of these bases are just so vulnerable to an air harass. The Mutalisks are coming in, but meanwhile in the middle of the map, the main army clash is not going to be happening.
Oh, here we go. All the Lings are... it's just Ling Ravager, which I don't know if I like this from Jardozer. Meanwhile, the Mutalisks have gone into the main base. But the Cyclones are there.
Reaction to the Cyclones, yeah. I think I do kind of like this composition for Jardozer, provided he's able to catch Froby off guard and get a real good surround. But yeah, Froby, he's not been caught off guard yet so far. And he's just melting through the Lings, and will just melt through Ravages.
We'll see, as it looks like the Banelings are trying to get some connections, but the kiting is just so good there by Froby.
Alright, Cyclones, they are armored units, but you can never underestimate Banelings. If they can actually connect with these massive clump of mech, it can do a lot of work here. A lot of units, also a lot of workers, I should say, going down. Yeah. And that is the connection that Jardozer wanted. Yeah. 17 SCVs, making Froby down, what, 13?
Yeah, he didn't trade well against the army, but he killed 17 workers. So nicely done there by Jardozer. He does meet up with his Mutalisks, which again, I'm not too sure how effective they're going to be, as they do get targeted down by the Cyclones.
But this does mean that they're not targeting the Banelings. Then again, this is also really, really far off of creep. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think Jardozer would be better if he focused on the creep spread before going for these big pushes.
Yeah, and it looks like Jardozer is going to lose everything here. It's just nothing but Ravagers. They're kind of caught out on their own. And oh my god, the Infestors are
Trying
rolled
to
over.
reinforce so much. Yeah, he's trying to reinforce so much. But again, it just comes back to Dusk Towers. Look at the rush distance on this map. The Infestors are here. What are they going to get? One good fungal can delete this army.
They're going to get
One
caught
good
out.
fungal and a couple of a good fungal and a couple of mind controls, zero parasites, even better.
Yeah, I do feel like a fungal is what he needs to trap the army and even rain biles upon them. One does get a handful of units, but it does get the majority actually. Oh, he's gonna lose all these cyclones.
It's not quite have the AoE to take advantage of that, and now the Infestors are out of energy and now they're dead. Meanwhile, these roaches were able to take out the planetary fortress of Froby. The economy looking to be in a lot of danger there, Froby.
Yeah, he lost 17 workers earlier and now another 14. Like, his economy is struggling so much right now, especially since he lost the base.
But he is transferring his orbitals. He only has one planetary fortress now, but when it comes to bases that are most vulnerable, they're just orbital commands.
Yeah, and I think Froby, he's gonna need a little bit of time to situate himself economically. He is floating over those CCs, but they aren't anywhere near. They aren't anywhere near droned up, or they don't have any workers there at all. They aren't being utilized.
They are not. Good little liberation zones coming up, and this base could lose a lot of workers here, or even more. Hello, Jardoza. There are 2 liberators.
Yeah,
14, 15,
there are 2 liberators.
16, 17 drones.
Oh my god.
It's not over. It is not over. Entire mineral line and then some gone.
Wow, 22 drones went down to that Liberator harass, as well as Blue Flame Hellions that dove in as well.
That was counter damage that Froby absolutely needed.
Yeah.
Now they're almost equal.
I like that. Jardoza actually just biled down the tower there that is above his 4th base to make sure that that doesn't get abused again, as there were actually Hellions up there raining down on the mineral line. So he does situate himself there. But Froby, he's looking really good. You know, he has all these bases on the other side of the map and they aren't being harassed. I say that as Lings are heading over.
Yeah, good little Link Scout, good little run by. You always want to be active with this in a late game ZVT. Catching the opponent's bases off guard is such a huge move, especially when, like Froby, you are forced to make orbitals and forced to put them in the most vulnerable positions. Jardos are trying to go in with the main push, but it's gonna be intercepted by the reinforcements of Froby. So many techs are out. We see that the Banelings just go splat like that, and this is a lot of units that Jardozer is not trading very efficiently with.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried for Jardozer because I feel like he does have a hive, he does have a greater spire. Where are the Broodlords? This is the tech that he needs right now. He can't continue trading with Lingbane Roach Ravager.
You could get Mutas. No, not Mutas, Ultras.
It's gonna pull up me and Micah, is that what you want?
Oh yeah, you know, they aren't any portals. It's just tank cyclone.
Yeah, just that's the Terran equivalent of Immortals, you know, like.
I feel like those are Marauders, actually.
I would say maybe Thor's, maybe. I don't know.
Oh yeah, a little bit. But again, Thor's are more anti-air rather than anti-armor.
Yeah. True.
Speaking of anti-air, there are some of the Brute Lords that we were wanting, but meanwhile, Fusion Core are going to be completed here by by Froby. I have a feeling that's just going to be for lib range. And so aren't a lot of tech labbed starports.
Yeah, I doubt we're gonna see BCs. I don't think they're necessary. But starports in general would be good, especially with this Broodlord transition. Either getting Vikings out, as he doesn't really have the army or the infrastructure for something like Ghosts.
No, he does not. So these Liberators are gonna be biled out immediately. Meanwhile, the Broodlord's just gonna be. Just means that Jardoza will be able to continue gaining ground. Both players are maxed out. Heck yes.
Yeah, we do have 6 Thors are on the way to deal with these Broodlords, which is nice, but they're not here right now, and this is when he needs them, as the Broodlords...
No, but the Cyclones are, and they are locked on and ready to go. Not a lot of Broodlords being taken out, though.
Yeah.
And this is starting to get really worrisome for Froby.
All the tanks went down. It's just these Cyclones left and the Thors that are on the way, but they're not quite done just yet. He needs to buy as much time as he can, which is good. Like, he's forcing the army here to the top left corner. They're not really dealing any game-ending damage right now.
Infestus? Hello? Infestus? They do live. Oh. I was very worried there for a second.
Yeah.
But now they're so low. They are about to get taken out. Good fungals being thrown down on the workers. And on top of the Cyclones as well. Froby, he's losing so much, but is it enough? The Thors are now out, but he wants to be super careful. He cannot let them get surrounded.
He's focusing the Broodlords. They're all gonna go down.
He's focusing the Broodlords. The Broodlords are out. There's only one left. And now the Corruptors. He's taking out the Corruptors before they can turn to Broodlords.
Yeah, and all the Infestors went down as well, so Froby should be able to clean this up. I'm kind of worried about the Lings.
Being taken out.
Yeah.
Froby wanted to double expand, and now he's down to base.
Oh my god, at the same time, Liberators have been sent to the other ends of the map to try and deal some economic damage to Jardozer, and they're doing pretty well so far, killing a couple of workers, but they do all end up getting cleaned up.
Yeah, that's definitely pretty worrisome if you're the Terran player here. At 6 Thors, you never think of Thors doing well against Lings, but when you have enough of them,
yeah,
they kind of one-shot them before they can even reach you.
That they do, and Froby, he lost the base, but he has plenty of CCs. He's able to mule up and regain control of his end of the map, and now it's his turn to push out.
That indeed it is, but what worries me is for Jardozer is what does he have to really contest against the Thors? He can try to get a surrounding and try to get some biles, but
he can try. I mean, there's no Broodlords that are ready. There are a bunch of Infestors on the way, and we do have Neural Parasite being researched, so Neurals could be good against this army, but they're not done quite yet.
The only thing that can take down a Thor is another Thor. And Jardozer understands this, I think.
Yeah. And again, the upgrade isn't finished yet, so the Infestors aren't going to be really useful other than Fungals.
No. Well, sometimes all you need is a couple of good Fungals. Look at a Bile starting to rain down, but very quick dodging coming out from Froby. Now Froby knows that the Infestors are there, so he's not even going to bother to push in there. It's just Thors and Liberators being produced right now by our pink Terran player. Thor Banshee, forget about it. Thor Lib, that's the way of the future.
That's what you need. And again, Jardozer, he's buying his time. Neural Parasite has just finished for Jardozer, so he's going in with his Infestors. Oh,
okay, get him. Gets one. But they die so quickly. All of the Infestors are starting to go down, but the Biles are not quite enough.
He still has control of the Thors, so he's able to clean up.
What a engagement. Now Froby just has no arm. Well, he does have a bit of an army, but he's just lost all of his momentum. He cannot rebuild his army anywhere near the rate that Jardozer can, and he is running out of money.
Yeah, he just doesn't have, he didn't have the bank to be able to remax after that, and now he only has a couple of Thors, a couple of Liberators, but to be fair, Jardozer, he did spend a lot of high-tech units to make that happen. He lost almost all of his Infestors in that fight, so he doesn't really have the momentum himself to push out.
Jardozer want another gold. He does. Who's gonna land? Who's gonna get there first?
He's gonna get there. I think it's gonna be Jardozer.
Yep.
Yeah. And now Jardozer, he's pushing out, and he has a large enough army. There's only Hellions and Thors here. I don't think they're gonna trade too well against Ray Travager.
Hellions, though.
They are.
Those are good against almost anything. Well, Hellbats, move some Hellbats.
Yeah, and these Ling run-bys are hurting so much just because all of these are orbitals. Like, none of them are planetaries. It's so hard to deal with them.
And it's a really weird balancing act because you want the orbitals alive because you want to start muling so you can have a bigger army supply, but at the same time, that doesn't matter if they could just sort of die.
Yeah, definitely, as Froby landed right next to Jardozer at the gold base.
May as well kill it with SCVs.
May as well.
Right, engagement being propped up. Epic gamer moment.
Yeah, and Froby, he's bought enough time where he has a decent army supply, decent army size. Froby, he doesn't have the infestors just yet. He's making 4, but they're not out quite yet. He only has 1 here in the middle of the map.
But he is going to try to make the most out of it. The Bile's not really landing on anything other than Jardos' own units. And the zoning is here. And is it enough? It looks like it's doing a pretty dang good job.
Yeah, we'll see.
Is it enough?
Oh, he mind controls one of the Thors. He's trying to push forward, and I think Froby has enough. He's able to hold on.
That he does. He does have a scan. Now he does. And there are still quite a lot of Thors. The Liberators just being taken out, but no, actually they don't. Not before taking... They're going to be continuing to take out a lot of drones here.
Yeah, 11 workers go down. The Liberator is still alive, so it will continue to harass the main bases of Jardozer. Meanwhile, would you have these Thors pushing into the gold base? And, they're going to get surrounded by Lings. The Lings are going to be able to clean this up.
That is not what you want at all, like, at all. And now the Neural Parasite is just going to add insult to injury. And just like that, Froby, once again, lost his army.
Yeah, that's the problem with Mass Thor, is that you need those Hellions, those Hellbats to protect the Thors from Lings, and they were just caught completely unawares. Meanwhile, Froby, he is sending Hellions to the other side of the map, trying to deal more harassing damage, and with Blue Flame, he's going to be able to deal a lot. 23 workers go down.
25, 27 even. And this game is going to start becoming real scrappy real soon. Or it would, if not for the fact that they've both taken every single base so far.
Jesus Christ. Every single one except for that gold base to the north. It's got creep on it.
29, this is the... Again, there's a damage that Froby not just wants, but needs more than anything.
And more damage is going to get done. More Hellions are in the mineral lines of Jardozer. And he's forcing Jardozer back home.
That he does. Jardozer, though, does have a lot of a bank. This could backfire on Froby if he's not careful. 56 drones, 57. Okay, jeez. I don't care how big a bank is. 61. You do not lose. I don't care how big your bank is. You do not lose that many workers.
63. Jesus Christ.
23 workers. Jardozer could max out now, and he'd be broke.
Oh my god, and these 65, these Hellies are still alive at the gold base. These Hellbats, I should say, dealing more and more damage. Oh my god.
Froby just needs to take one good engagement now, and Jardozer will have the ability to remax only once. Only once.
Oh, has to be careful. Oh, nice scan, is able to catch all of the infestors, so he knows where they are. He has to be so careful, as that is the Hail Mary play for Jardozer to Neural Parasite all of either the tanks or the Thors to try and turn this on Froby.
He will, but it's going to be difficult to do when there are Liberators and a very vigilant scanner. Moving the Thors in, moving the tanks in. And that scan does just about see what he has to. Good Venn diagram there.
Mastodon there is slowly leapfrogging with his Liberators and tanks, slowly inching forward towards the main base of Jardozer. Jardozer, though, he is maxed out. He does have a decent sized army. This could still swing either way. Thors are Ultras are out. What are you doing here?
You called it, but this time there aren't a lot of Cyclones. That being said, this is still a lot. The Liberators are really the MVP in this battle.
All the Infestors died. All the Infestors are gone.
The Infestors are gone, the Thors are gone, and now it's just Roaches, and they're about to be gone. Whoa! Tier 3 Goats is gonna be a winner. What an ending to this evening.
Jesus Christ, that was insane. That was, oh my god, we were talking about the previous game being like one of the best we've seen, but this one, holy shit.
This was absolutely insane. So it wasn't quite TY versus Solar, but
it was pretty close. It was pretty close. It was TY if he played mech.
Exactly.
Oh my god, the amount of harass that Froby, he just didn't let up. The Hellion harassed the Liberators as well. And because of the long rush distance, even though Froby, he kept losing his army, his high-tech army, like he was able to buy enough time to remake and just have enough to hold on. Oh my god. Mate,
I am just speechless.
mate, we got to make a petition. Got to rally the people. We need this back in the map pool.
Let's get on it. Somebody start the change.org URL.
Oh my god, that was insane. I love that.
That was such good counter harass, and towards the end there, the mid game, so much back and forth.
Yeah, from both players. Like, again, there was all this Ling harass as well. I could be hallucinating. This game was so long. Were there mutalisks at some point as well? I think they were. Yeah, they were. Yeah, it was like a fever dream. I'm like,
that was so early in this game.
It started off with mutalist harass. Oh my god.
I'm tapped out. Like, after seeing that, I'm so glad that was the final game of the evening, because after that, man, I myself am tapped out.
Yeah, that was such a good game, such a long game as well, so back and forth. We had mutalist harass going on, we had just about almost everything. We had broodlords. I think it did kind of come down to where the initial wave of broodlords was cleaned up. Like, we never saw broodlords again really after that, and I feel like that's definitely something.
And then he's switching to ultras.
I think that was a mistake.
Versus Cyclone Lip Tank.
Yeah. We called it. He pulled a Micah. He thought it was a good time to whip out the ultras when really he needed broodlords. I do think even though Thors do, I think they have the same range as broodlords or even outrange them.
They outrange broodlords. So.
Yeah, you definitely need. I definitely think he needed them, and he needed his ground army to support and make sure that the Thors couldn't range them down, but.
Again, I kind of wish that we had post-game interviews, but I have a theory that maybe Jardozer wanted to be Brute-Lord Ultralisk, right? Have a really good Ling Ultra sort of ground army with Infestus, and then in the air it's Brute-Lord Corruptor, but then suddenly he maxed out and he thought, oh...
Yeah. I do also definitely think that when it comes to complementing this Broodlord style, instead of Infestors, I think Vipers would have been good, because currently, I know this will change in the upcoming patch, but currently Vipers do outrange Thors, I believe, by 1. So because of that, yeah, exactly, for yoinks. So you can pull them in, and the Broodlords can focus them down. Either that or Lightning Clouds. Like, there's definitely a lot of possibilities, like a lot of variations.
Lightning Clouds are, Thors may outrange Broodlords, but not when they're in Blinding Cloud.
Yeah.
Oh man, not just a way to end the evening, but a way to end the group stages. Now, from next week on, we are going into the playoffs, and I'm not sure if you have a scene, or do you want to?
I don't have a scene, but we do have the playoff bracket available. We can take a look at that, and we can audibly let everyone know what is coming up.
I actually have it prepared already. Starting from next week, we should have 2 best of 5s ready for you. We will have the single horny ponies, which topped the group stage, or in Group A. After that, after that 5-0, it was pretty much confirmed that single horny ponies were going to be making it out, and they will face from Group B ZergPatch and Jenasin. Meanwhile, on the other end of that bracket, Tier 3 Goats had the 1-up on single horny ponies as well. They didn't have a 5-0. They did have a 3-0 when it comes to series score. They'll be facing off against Team Bear Me.
Yeah, they will. So, unfortunately, we say goodbye to Team Better Than Jared, who they proved they were not, actually.
Rip.
As they didn't make it into the playoffs, so that means we won't be seeing Special or Chappie or some of the other players there, as they did get knocked out in the group stage. We also say goodbye to Los Vamos Suka, which is another shame. We do say goodbye to Cats, Igor, Pili, as well as NA's finest, again proving that they. I feel like
no.
I feel like they doomed themselves with these team names. Better Than Jared, NA's finest. Kind of. Yeah.
Yeah. You want to go for a relatively neutral name, like Well, then again, you have ZergPatch and Jenasin.
True. You want to go for something more neutral, like single horny ponies, you know?
Exactly. How is that gonna offend anyone?
Exactly. So yeah, again, Future's team 6 foot 4 inches do get knocked out as well. So some of these strong teams with arguably some of the best players. Yeah, Puppy, he's out.
Mamosuka is not gonna be making it out.
Yeah. Again, they had the highest seed player, and they didn't make it out.
Did they? That was Gerard.
Sorry, team better than Jared had the highest seed player, and they didn't make it out.
That's special.
Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna get into the playoffs, and congratulations to the teams that made it through. You know, Jon Snow, Jared himself with the tier 3 goats made it through. We have Cuddlebear's team with, of course, the single horny ponies, right? Like they're best team, best name. ZergPatch proving that it is a ZergPatch, and Jenasin. And yeah, the most generic team name, but you know, also I guess the most fitting. We have Panda Bear Me's team, Team Bear Me, make it through as well with Justice Simon.
Oh yeah, they do.
Yeah, and Lightning as well.
Oh yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Oh, I just realized that we were talking about it earlier today. We were like, man, I would hate for Justice Simon to play on this this map pool. You gotta walk over.
Yeah. We'll see how he adapts. I am looking forward to see Panda Bear, Me, and Lightning 2v2 it up. They've kind of been the set 2v2 team for their team, and they've done really well as well. We did see them go like Mass Ling and Mass Phoenix earlier today, and it worked out incredibly well for them.
I just want to know what the maps are going to be.
Yeah, that's kind of what it comes down to. What
will they go further back in time?
Oh, the maps are out. The maps are there. They're on Wikipedia, and we called it. Odyssey. Odyssey's there. Oh my god.
Whoa. Okay. This is 2017 again. Mech Depot, Ascension Ire, Odyssey, Newkirk.
Mate, Blood Boil is there. I loved the way Blood Boil looked. Oh my god, it had such a good aesthetic. It is the red snow map.
This
Honor Grounds.
Okay, maybe not my favorite map, but I have a lot of nostalgia for that.
Yeah.
I love 2017.
Honor Grounds, was that the GSL map? Was it? Yeah. It wasn't. I remember it because it wasn't on the map pool, and it was like it wasn't one of the first, but it was like GSL's like big change when it came to their map pool. Because for whatever reason they don't always have their own like specific maps, but every now and then they have one. And
I think it's for variety. I think it's mostly the management / production of thinking this is like, you know, there's not enough variety in this map pool.
Yeah, and I actually do like that they take the initiative. They look at the map pool, they're like, oh, okay, like we need something else here, and then they get it done, you know.
Really, you know, if they want to live up to their reputation of being the toughest, or maybe not the toughest, but definitely the tournament where every single aspect of your play, from stamina to series planning to just about anything, then working with the map is also definitely something.
Yeah,
to add.
So yeah, the map pool is out. This is going to be amazing. I'm looking forward to a lot of these. I'm looking forward to see Odyssey again. It's been so long, and that used to be like one of the longest standing maps in the map pool. I remember it kind of overstayed its welcome a little bit.
Not in my heart.
I think it was one of those maps that was, it was both in Heart of the Storm and Legacy of the Void. Was it? Yeah, I think it crossed over. I could be wrong though.
I know Newkirk definitely did.
Yeah.
For some reason, the final map... No, I don't think it was the final map pool of Heart of the Storm, but for some reason, first map pool of Legacy of the Void, they decided, you know what we need? Newkirk Precinct.
Yeah.
which is an amazing map. I actually got my first win in that map, but
Oh.
that's a ramble for a different time. We should just about sign off here.
Yeah. I mean, congratulations to all the teams that not only won but also made it into the playoffs, which will be held next week. Yeah, such amazing games. Shout out to Froby as well for just making Dust Towers great again. I guess it's
Froby and Jardoza, as well as I don't even remember who played on the other Macintac, I believe it was.
Hold on, I can
No, it wasn't Macintac.
No. Macintac played against some cats.
Scrubbles and Patty Mac.
Yeah. Exactly. Scrubbles and Patty Mac. Yeah, we had the ZVP. That was amazing as well. We also had a lot. That was the game where Patty Mac, he made the hallucinated stalkers. And yeah,
went down to a single building. A base trade that went down to a single building each.
It was so good.
Watch the VOD, guys.
Watch the VOD. It was amazing. It was beautiful. Oh, those were, tonight was like the best night of StarCraft. Like, let's be real here. Of the year, like those two games. All right.
Easy.
All right. Before we do tune out, thanks everyone for watching. ! Macherino in the chat. We didn't mention it, but if you use code SPICY2, you can add. Yeah, they may have all been used up. If not, make sure they have been, as there is a Macherino page to this tournament. Shout out to Sugar for organizing this event, for choosing the maps and making it as memey as possible. Shout out to the players, for shout out to the players who actually played this week. We did have a lot of walkovers, which is a bit of a shame, but I think the games that we had kind of made up for it, because
absolutely
it was beautiful. Yaku, who are you? Where can we find you?
Twitch.tv/Yakuzaku1, Twitter.com @Empore Yakuzaku. Exclamation mark in Discord in chat brings you to the CranKy Ducklings Discord server, where you can find me there. Although I have to remind everyone, I am not an admin, so don't ask me about SEO questions. Other than that, buy my shirts.
And you can find me at light_VIP on Twitch and Twitter. I stream occasionally, pretty regularly recently, almost daily. I've been practicing a lot with Claire, our teammate, as well as Milk, as we are playing in a team league. We're playing in a Centuri Star Series. We will actually be playing our second round matchup tomorrow, so do tune into that. We will tweet when it happens. We won't be streaming it, we won't be casting it. The Centuri, I think they'll take care of that. They've got that under wraps. But yeah, do follow me on social media if you want to tune into that, if you want to follow what events I cast. More importantly though, follow this channel, CranKy Ducklings. We're live almost daily. We bring a lot of NA StarCraft, Asian StarCraft, Southeast Asian, as well as Oceanic. We try our best.
East Asian sometimes.
Yeah, we're all over the place. We're mainly lacking when it comes to European events, unfortunately, but we try and do our best. And yeah, thanks everyone for watching. It's been amazing. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you next week for the Spicy League playoffs.
Bye.
Ciao.